Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent says we don't need to cut federal spending. We can just grow our way out of our $36 trillion debt, soon to be $66 trillion. I want what he is smoking. In an interview last week, Bessent admitted the big, beautiful budget will add trillions in debt, which is, of course, not what Republican voters wanted, and which is not sustainable with interest on the debt already on track for $1.8 trillion per year, over a quarter of the federal budget, every last penny borrowed. But Bessent said, do not worry, we will just grow into it. As in, sure, debt's growing at almost 7% per year, the highest outside war or recession. But if we can just get the economy growing faster than 7%, we are out of the woods. Now, this is true, of course, and it's also not going to happen, meaning, as Will Clemente put it, we are in, quote, full-blown Ponzi mode. To see why, since 2000, our economy has grown by 4.5% per year, half of which was inflation. So the real economy grew just over 2%. That means to get to Bessent's target, we would need to double the real growth rate to nearly 5% per year. Now, that's what rich Asian countries do, who are not run by the clowns in Congress. America has not seen that kind of growth since the early 60s, long before the long march to the corrupt deep state, and before Richard Nixon killed off the dollar, launching the big government bonanza. So what would it take to double real growth? In the near term, Trump could actually hit it, given the trillions of foreign investment pouring under his big, beautiful tariff umbrella. But we're not talking a couple of years here. We are talking decades just to stabilize the debt. For that, we would need radical improvements to the business environment, something like 90% reduction in useless regulations, so climate, diversity, union mandates. We'd need a massive retrenchment, getting government out of entire industries from energy to health to farming and manufacturing. We'd need a complete elimination of business taxes, ideally all income taxes. Sadly, none of this is on the menu. In fact, the big, beautiful budget spends more while barely holding the line on taxes. So Secretary Bessent is absolutely correct that we could grow our way out of the debt. But here in the real world, where Congress is captured by special interests, filibustered to paralysis, and has a pet fed to morphine the pain with inflation, it ain't gonna happen. Leaving the much easier way to get to 7% nominal growth, inflation. Print enough inflation that even 2% real growth turns into 7 or more with inflation. That would melt away the national debt. Of course, it would also melt away your life savings. So as next, brought to you by Unchained.com. In the near term, Trump's investment boom could hide that our fiscal roof is collapsing. But if unsustainable deficits are now permanent, inflation is coming, whether Bessent likes it or not. When the music stops, you'll want hard assets, so your house, your company, defensive stocks, and of course, gold or Bitcoin. Okay, we'll be watching. See you next time.